Okay, so I was just prescribed Strattera, and this was me asking for it. But basically, so been diagnosed with ADHD and autism, and it's one of the medications that I take to help out with things. There's a therapist that I see and therapy that I go through, and it's just a lot of things that are involved. But the reason I asked to be switched to actually, let me just explain just something basic here. So, Strattera is a non-stimulant that can help people with ADHD focus a bit better. Just need to build it up over time. I mean, for some people, it works immediately. For some, it can take up to a couple of months for it to take effect. I don't know how long it's going to work for me because this is, new for me. I was previously with the stimulant, basically Adderall. And the thing is, with a stimulant type med, it works damn near right away or, within a couple of hours. But I have high blood pressure, even though I've been losing weight over the years. Like at my height, I was over 440 pounds. My highest recorded weight was 426.2 pounds, but I had a 440-pound scale that I bought, and the scale could not weigh me. I am at like 296 right now. That was just a mix of dieting, intermittent fasting, and working out, and just a lot of other things, and just experimenting with, my life and my diet. But getting back to the meds, because I have high blood pressure, I take a prescription called losartan, and it helps to control my blood pressure well. But Adderall and most other stimulants for ADHD, they don't work well with it. And usually doctors won't prescribe you both of them, but I would choose which days that I would actually use them. And I showed that I can handle it. There was no problem. And basically, I got one prescription after the other, and they didn't share in my chart. So that's just how I got past that in the beginning. But yeah, you take Adderall and take losartan, you can either, completely bottom out with your blood pressure, or you can just go ridiculously high. But I believe it's more likely in my case to bottom out, but it's an issue. But I recently had a meltdown, and like the worst one I had in like 8-9 years. And I had it at Thanksgiving time. And the thing is, I could have prepared for it, but I chose to do something else. Or technically, I could have prepared for it if I had not been lied to, if I had been given the proper information when I asked for it. Because again, when you're neurotypical, when you're neurodiverse, or just pretty much when you're disabled in some way, you want to do everything yourself, but it's not just doing everything yourself. You want to limit how much other people have to adapt to or change their lives and what they do to accommodate you. There's only so far other people should have to go to accommodate you. Like when you think of disability, think somebody in a wheelchair, like, yeah, there should be a proper ramp at a proper angle to let you get in, ADA, certified and all that jazz. But it's more than just that. With me, I have issues with bright lights. I have issues with some loud sounds, especially music. Some smells really get to me badly. It's a lot of things that can get to me. So for the most part, I take care of things myself. I don't go places where I know things are going to be awful, or if I know I'm going to go to a place, like, even though I'm the oldest sibling of my family, the oldest of my 3 sisters, her home is usually just like the worst place for me to go to, because there's just so much there that's just not accommodating. So I would usually take my Adderall and just other stuff to help me, mellow out and be able to handle things better when I'm there. But this past Thanksgiving, our meal was supposed to be at the youngest sister's house. Her home and the way things are set up there is usually very well amenable for me to deal with things. And so I just, before I showed up, I asked them a few questions, like, hey, is there going to be a lot of people there? Because that's the trigger, a shitload of people in a small space, especially ones I don't know, especially ones that look and act like the people that bullied me and beat my ass every day in elementary and middle school and halfway through high school. Those people are triggering to be around and see, so I need to know, should I be taking, my freaking Adderall? And they told me, no, it's just going to be the family. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, fine, because I can take the family. I mean, it's not like my family is perfect or whatever, but I could take them. So I was like, so I took my blood pressure med instead of the Adderall. So I have no protection with that. And it's just, A lot of things just added up. I mean, there were things outside of what was going on with the family, like a fucking deer hitting me while I was driving. Like, not hitting the deer, I'm driving, that motherfucker just runs out at the side of my car. And just a bunch of other shit with people. I actually ran out of energy getting home one day and just nobody could help me. I was just trying to get it for cheaper or lower. If they could do a free tow or whatever, fine. But any discount would have helped out a lot financially because when it happened, it was close to Thanksgiving, close to my daughter's birthday. And so they tell Perts. So I go to my sister's very last for any help because they usually can't help me. They're not in financial space to be able to do much for me. I very rarely ever go to them for things because my issues are usually big issues. They usually cost a lot of money or stuff they don't know about or stuff they don't deal with or stuff they don't care about. So when I go to them for help, they are usually the absolute last person, the absolute last ones, period. And so to be told, oh, okay, you can get this tow for $80, I was fucking happy. I was like, okay, let's do it. It was mad. Like, it's supposed to be free. They didn't read their fucking plan. It's free for you because you're on the plan. They were going to let you extend it to me temporarily or whatever for some cost. Instead, they just cussed the motherfucker out. And by the time you get back to them, their price is going back up to the standard $130 to tow. I could have really used that $50. That would have helped out a lot. But yeah, getting back to the Thanksgiving stuff, yeah, so I'm sitting there cooking throughout the day and just, the weight of just so many other things before that's going on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to relax. This is going to be good. Get to see my sisters, my nieces, and my nephews. It's going to be great to see them. It's going to be great to be around them. And when I finish getting everything prepared and I go out to drive and I'm driving there, in the family chat, somebody posted, oh, I'm going to, the oldest sister's house. I'm like, what? Like, apparently they had decided a day or two before they were switching from the youngest sister's house to the oldest sister's house. And nobody had fucking told me. And just my anxiety shot up. Because the older sister moved and she don't tell nobody where she live at unless you ask her. Like, she's the only person in the family where when she moves, she don't just give you the address. Everybody else, I move, other sisters move, mom, the other family members move. We move and we give our address right away. This one, she don't do that. And she had just moved recently. I didn't have it. I asked in the chat, could I give it to me? It's a chat, with the family in it. Not a single one of them could put the address and had to put in a second message. You don't have to be her to tell me since y'all already decided we're doing Thanksgiving there. Just put it in. And what happened was that the youngest sister put her address in the chat and that address was fucking wrong. And then the oldest sister, in less than 13 seconds, I was sitting there watching, less than 13 seconds, came in and corrected her. Now, we also have read receipts on, so I know when everybody read and saw this shit. So the motherfuckers was in the chat, even send responses after I asked for this shit without giving an answer. And it's just, oh, okay. So I get there, and it's just, I didn't put two and two together like, oh, yeah, I'm not prepared, mentally to go here with all this shit on me and just, I already committed to the blood pressure medication for the day. If I didn't know I was going to be going to her place, I would have took the Adderall. And so instead, I get there, it's tiring, and we're coming up the street. They let somebody in right before us and then close the door, like right when we were within view and close by. But I didn't realize it wasn't somebody from our family at the door that just ignored us. It was somebody else. Older sister had invited, her boyfriend's people, and that's not a problem. Her boyfriend's a cool guy. It's pretty nice. I mean, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but it takes a long time for me to remember people's names. I do kind of remember his face. His face is almost memorable. It takes me a while to remember people's faces, too. Yeah, so we get there and have my daughter ring the bell, and nobody's there. We know people were just at the door. We see people look out the window because she has no curtains up at us, and then they just stand there. They didn't even yell or say shit to her. To my sister, anybody, they just were looking. So I came up to the window and started knocking, and her boyfriend saw me and recognized me and finally came over and let us in. And I get in, and you can hear the music from outside already, but it was just so much louder in there, and you smell weed as soon as you go in. They were just fucking smoking in the basement. I hate that shit. You can smoke weed or smoke whatever the fuck you want. That shit is just awful to be smoking inside of a house, especially when there are so many children around. And so, wait. But that shit is just so foul and awful to be doing around children to me. It's like, damn, I mean, if there was an attempt to cover up the smell or to keep it from everybody else, it was a shitty one that was done. So I get in and I put down the food because I brought a lot of food. I brought cookies, I brought a huge sheet of banana pudding, I brought mashed potatoes, and gravy for it, and a salad and something else. But yeah, I brought it all. And so I'm just feeling everything flare up and my back is starting to shake and I'm feeling the way you do it. Type 2, diabetic spirit, when you know your sugar is low. I'm feeling like my sugar is low, but my sugar is not low. I know it's not low. I ate and took pills for that, but I took enough for my sugars to be fine. So I just feel it coming on me. So I immediately go to the bathroom. It's one of the things you do when you feel things getting overwhelming, when you're neurodivergent, is you separate yourself from situation to place as much as possible. You calm down, you control your breathing, counting, just a lot of things. Even meditation, I tried my best. But when I went in there and closed the door and it blocked out some of the music, it lowered it a bit, they raised the fucking music. It was louder in the bathroom. It was louder in the bathroom with the muffled, even while I was being muffled, than it was when I had walked in. And that was just so over the top and it was just so triggering. So I left the bathroom and my mind is just whacked. And I was trying to just go. My mom walks up to me and says, well, I gotta go. I'm telling them I gotta go. And then they just start walking up to me. The older sister walks up to me. The other sister walks up and say, what's wrong? Like, I told you, I gotta go. But then when the problem, the person at the house that has all this shit going on and they couldn't tell the shit and it lied about people being here and couldn't communicate well about it, it just overflowed at that point. And it's just, I felt like it was, what's the best way to say it? It's like, it was just violently ridiculous. Like, I just felt like I needed to just like jump out a window or through a wall and just barrel through other people because I'm just being just like dogpiled on at the point. Like, it probably didn't look like that. I mean, with just 3 people just right there immediately and a few people just far off, but it was just so much. It was overwhelming. And then my fist goes in the air and I feel it and I look at my fist like, why is this up? And then my chest just starts to hurt so much. It was so painful. I found out that I had a cardiac event later when I eventually got to see a doctor. But it was just so much. So they eventually got me to sit down and gave me a little water. And it was wild. And they're asking me what's going on. And I'm telling them it's too much for me. That they shouldn't have lied about what was going on, like where I was going to be at, people were going to be in their environment. I was completely unprepared. And then they're treating me, I guess, because they're mostly neurotypical folk. I know from their point of view, it just looks like I just walked through the door, took a shit, which I didn't take a shit, but it just looks like I walked through the door, took a shit, and then just went nuts. And it's just, no. But they don't want to listen. I've been telling them about what I do and how I do things for the longest, and I don't even get the smallest fucking concessions from them. Like, there was a point in time where because I had gone without eating pork for so long, that any amount of it would just give me really bad fucking diarrhea. And we throw kids' parties and there's pizzas there that we do Little Caesar, so it's little hot and ready's. And they would never get like a single cheese or something else that I could eat when the shit would happen. But then, when my kids' party would come around, we would have a diverse amount of pieces, and their children, who they said would not eat the cheese pieces, would run and grab cheese pieces and chicken and just everything that wasn't the pork and eat the shit first. The very few times that they would get the non-pepperoni pieces, the non-pork pieces, their kids would run and eat the shit first. I don't know why it was so difficult to be inclusive. It's not even like it cost more. It didn't cost more. I wasn't asking to have everything changed. It's just little things, but it's just, they don't even do the little shit. They don't even do shit for free. My daughter is autistic, and she goes to speech therapy. And one of the things our therapist told us, since she noticed that she was able to read and write so much better, understand that better, to help expand her vocabulary, was just ask other family members to test her. She knew that we had her kid with a phone. It was just data only, but I switched over to a phone plan when we got the suggestion. And ask them to just say hi to her every now and then, just do a little conversation. And asked them to do the shit, and they all said they would do it. Not a single one of them did the shit. they tried to be inclusive of her, but she doesn't get invited to anything. If it's not a birthday party, they're not really inviting her. They're not thinking of her. There's a lot of things they just leave her out of. They don't come over to visit her. They don't come to see her. I go and visit everybody. And it's a lot of other ways that while it looks kind of nice and cute on the surface, like everybody's being inclusive of her, they pretty much have done her dirty a lot. So that was just one thing that's going to lead to a final conclusion I got to later. But eventually when I, got out of the Thanksgiving home and I got back to the car with my daughter there, by the way, I had to lay down in my car for like 45 minutes. I had to look at myself. It was really, no, I think it was 38 minutes. Yeah, before I could be calm enough to start driving again and to get home. And it was just such a dangerous ride home. And it just felt like nobody really cared. It's just there's more than enough information and knowledge about me and what I go through and what I deal with and what I try to go through to where they could have been somewhat understanding or listening or something. They did not do that. They did not care. And then, my daughter's birthday is a few weeks after Thanksgiving. And you know what all these motherfuckers did? They did not give her a gift. They did not call her, tell her happy birthday. They didn't text her happy birthday. We told them we can come around teaching you and y'all still mad at me or whatever for what happened. I can understand. But we can let her out the car to come to y'all and y'all can wish her a happy birthday. Her mom had made cake pops. And everybody loves this woman's cake pops. They are wonderful. They are large. They are delicious and great. And we were going to give all of them cake pops when we showed up just to wish our kid a happy birthday. Nothing that shit. The only person in the entire family that wished my child a happy birthday from my side of the family was just one of my nieces from the middle of of my three sisters. Just her. And it's just, they do this. Whenever they're mad at me, they withdraw and then they ignore my kid. When they're mad at each other, they go and get each other's kids and still treat their kids well and do well. But it's always fuck my kid when they're mad at me. It's always fuck my kid when they want to try to force me to do something. It's just, it was enough. So the only reason not only, but I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here, but basically I had already decided a few weeks before Thanksgiving that we weren't even going to have a regular birthday party this year because one, because of money issues, and two, because of just how unsupported and disrespected we feel by them in general. Hey, if any of them don't believe it and they figure out how to contact me, I would send them a screenshot of the messages that I had with my kid's mom. But we discussed that shit 3 weeks before Thanksgiving and made the decision. But yeah, they don't do us right. And sorry if any of my nieces or nephews are here and they heard this, but there's something important that you should ask yourself if you are somehow still following me and hear this. Me and my daughter come to your houses, your homes, and your events very often, but ask yourselves why you never come to me. Your parents don't drive to me. We always have to drive to them. If I didn't put any effort to drive out to see them, we would never see each other. And it's just, I get that they want to smoke weed and do all this shit whenever they get together. And I smoke weed sometimes too, but it's not my fucking life. I don't do it around my kid. I don't do it inside my house. I drink alcohol. I don't drink it that often. I don't do it around my kid. Except for, New Year's where we share like a spritzer. That's it. But other than that, I don't do a lot of adulty stuff around my kid. And that's just something where we just greatly differ. But that's how I'm pulling away from the family. There's a lot of reasons for why I'm pulling away from the family, but that was just straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the sole reason. There's a lot of shit happening, but that's it. And the only reason my phone number hasn't been changed is because I got over 700 fucking logins in my Bitwarden, and I've been going through seeing what I still actually really have access to and use. And once I'm done cleaning out my logins and getting my MFAs, 2FAs primed to be, disabled, I'm going to change my number at that point and re-enable my 2FAs with the new number and just be done. Because I get it. It is a distance to get to me now, but there was no excuse when I was in Detroit and was 5 miles away from that. Like two of y'all, it was a 15-minute drive. One of y'all was a 9-minute. The only time they ever showed up when I was living in Detroit was when I was giving away free shit or for a couple of my kids' birthday parties. And that was it. Like if I wasn't giving away free shit, and we had to give out extra shit at her party since, they would sometimes just be kind of fucky about that. So it's been a long time coming. I don't need people in my life that are only going to drag me down and do issues. I've been also planning to change my name for years. My name is Sharondale Kelly. I'm changing it to Titus Kelly. I call myself Titus on Facebook for a few years now to get used to it. I've changed it in multiple apps. I try to think about myself as Titus. I'm trying to make Titus my name, and it's starting to really start to feel like my name. My real friends are calling me Titus as well, and they've known for a while. The only thing stopping me from getting my name legally changed to Titus is just money. Gotta declare in the paper, gotta file the court paperwork. It's about $300 to $400 to just do everything I need to do to get it done, and I have more pressing issues to do. But naming a guy Sharondale, I got to experience, just a lot of what women were talking about with discrimination in the workplace and other places. People treated me like shit, ignored me or whatever when they only saw my name and no picture and did not see me. They meet me and their tune just fucking changed right away. And then they always ask about my name. I fucking hate that name. It's a fucking awful name. Hate that shit. I mean, damn, the name my grandma came up with at least would have been better. She wanted to name me Leviticus. I could have just been called Levy, or Levi or whatever, or just, hell, even Leviticus is a better name for a man than Sharondale is. It's a fucking awful name, and I am not keeping that shit. I was going to make it my middle name. When I legally changed it, I'm removing that shit. I get called Dill for short, so Dill will become my middle name just to help some people find me a little bit better, but just to keep that part of it. But Titus Dale Kelly, and that's still up in the air. It might just be solidly Titus Kelly. But yeah, after Thanksgiving, and my new benefits kicked in, I finally got to see my therapist again and got to see my doctor. And I got updated metformin prescription. My little Losartan's been updated to be properly filling because I was at the end of it there. I was actually rationing things out because I didn't have money to go see these people to just get the okay and approvals to just get refills on things or to even pay for the prescriptions. I'm on Mounjaro now too, because my A1C jumped up from like 8.3 to 11.6. So I'm hoping that's going to help me out. I could have been on it before, but I didn't ask, but I asked about it immediately. I asked about a GLP-1 immediately. And my therapist switched me from Adderall to Strat. I don't remember. I'm looking at it now. So the generic name is Amoxicillin, but yeah, Strattera. And the reason for that is I should be able to get a higher dose of my blood pressure medication that can help me out better. Because apparently at Thanksgiving, even though taking it still with the cardiac issue, I needed more help. But I shouldn't have to pick between what I'm doing for the day. So this should work out much better with my blood pressure medication so that I can be functional and still be in good health when I'm living. But I'm doing this for me. No longer just trying to go back and forth. Going back and forth with the Adderall and that was for other people so that, I could just really get a strong hit. Just so I can really be good and present for them. But now I'm like, let me just take the best, most holistic, not necessarily holistic, but let me just take the best approach for myself so I can be the best version for me in the world. I'm hoping to get and stay in contact with my good friends that I haven't been speaking to as much recently. And I'm hoping to make some new ones. And I'm hoping that moving forward without, my family, that life can work. But with the way that me having to be the one to reach out and do things and just make things happen, it was just me putting Band-Aids on everything to make it work. Like my oldest nephew graduated from school, and I took him and the entire family, my 3 sisters, their kids, and the nephew and his girlfriend out to see what was that movie? Lilo and Stitch, live action Lilo and Stitch at the start of summer. No special discounts, no nothing. Just paid for that shit. Bought the tickets. We got to be there. Gave them a false time of it starting. Like, oh, showtime early or whatever. They still showed up late as fuck, but just made it just in time to only miss like the first 5 minutes of the movie. But it was a fun event. I like doing things with them. I mean, it's not that I can do with people in the movies, but just I like being around them. When an environment is just not so fucking awful. But these people have shown and proven that they're willing to hurt my daughter, to diss her and disrespect her, to not be an aid, to not be a help. It's one thing to be angry at me and mad at me and to just take things out of me, but to take it out on my daughter, to do my daughter wrong, to do her completely wrong, to act like she don't exist, and to treat her less than. I mean, when I'm not around or when they think I'm not hearing, when they think I can't hear them, they're always saying there's something wrong with her, or just there's nothing wrong with her, or just always something wrong. She's autistic, okay? She has her own things to deal with. Like, I have auditory processing disorder. She has her own version of auditory processing disorder. She has echolalia. And that's what part of why we're in speech therapy and have been in speech therapy for years. It's just we aren't supported and respected by our family. And once again, we try to do as much as we can on our own, since there's only so much a person that is not yourself should have to go to support you and help you. But we at least, at the bare minimum, just expect you to do what you say you're going to do and to not lie about what you're doing and to just keep communication clear, straight, and 100. That's it.